What is going on, guys? Your boy Guns here, and joining me today is the one and only second best mage in the game,
Crazy,
my
crazy.
my boy Saint from the Echo Alliance. Saint, how you been, bro?
It's been a journey, man. It's been an interesting past season going into this off season. I think a lot of people will say.
For sure, for sure. So, what the video is gonna be today, guys? I found like I might as well bring another fellow mage main to like talk about this stuff, because we normally do talk a lot about this stuff even off camera. So I feel like it'd be interesting to see for you guys to hear like our predictions for the new mages. Saint, you want to start us off, bro? What do you think we're gonna get, bro? I'm curious. I'm curious.
So my long-standing prediction, probably hope slash copium, is a another AOE mage, of course, an AOE mage, and a flying single target. I know that would slightly divert from how they've kind of been doing it, sort of giving everyone one of everything, one of a flyer, one of this, one of that. But yeah, I'm hoping, man, a second flying mage march, get used to those celestials. We can have two proper celestial marches, going around. So that's what I got my hopes for, man. The AOE, I've been saying it for a while, somewhat because of the Thunder Lizard, but also just because it kind of makes sense. Would be like an electric, paralytic AOE mage, one that can sort of chain. Yeah, I'm excited. Just hoping not to be let down.
No, yeah, for sure. That'd be crazy, dude. An AoE mage and then a one flyer. So obviously, I think the AoE mage probably would be the rally, and the other one could be probably the deputy that goes to support it. I don't know, bro. I mean, they're pretty consistent with how they do a lot of their pairings. Like the
Yeah.
past, like the archers didn't get any wyvern riders, calves didn't get any flyers. You know. Um, but yeah, I do think that I don't know if we're gonna get flyers. I hope, like you how you said, copium, and you're hopeful. So yeah, I also hope the same as your prediction. But what I think is gonna come, I think that the SLE hero is gonna be the one with the rally talent. That one is gonna be a single target DPS focused mage, and then the deputy is gonna be the one that does AOE. So the wheel commander is gonna be the AOE commander. Um, but I forgot who I was talking to about it. They're like, "Whoa, wow, a mage freaking hero with a rally talent. Like no one's excited. Everyone's like, it's just gonna get swarmed. What do you think needs to be added to these mage heroes in order to actually bring them into the meta of rallying?"
I think if we're talking about the into any meta or for them to be useful, because even like the pass, the zone passes, being able to melt those down as well, be able to start building, especially in Dragon Zone, the most efficient team can win. I think HP. I think with mages, you're kind of looking at, the main things that you've always looked at are, any HP buffs, skill damage, hero skill damage, and then of course, we've got some AOE, but then artifact damage, right? They're your main things. So I think for a rally, of course, you're looking for some HP buffs, whether or not that's just sort of intrinsic with the heroes, or if there's a buff. I mean, I know lots of people love the Celestials and talk about how powerful they are, but with some of the changes lately, I think Celestials are probably ready for, whether or not it's a buff or a bit of, adding something else to them. The flying, the flying chickens got some Wyvern riders with their, long range sort of demolition. I think Celestials and the HP buff around mages would be good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna have to be even more than an HP buff. I think my prediction. I think that would make it like a really good like selling point. They would have to be part of the meta, bro. They would have to. And as we saw, like the previous tanks that came out were kind of like, yeah, a lot of people right now are running like a Magro Gorish seems to be the combination for meta right now for Garrison. Um, so I think whenever this new mage rally, I mean, we're guessing that it's going to be a rally mage, right? They've been pretty consistent with rally and garrison heroes for SLEs.
Mm.
strongest Lord hero. So I think the rally talent, if you look at the rally talent, let's just say the garrison talent of Tohar, right? Imagine that was a rally talent. It would have to have a specific detail that makes it not to be able to be swarmable. And if you do swarm it, it's gonna punish you. Maybe a skill that just does AoE to anyone attacking it. Anyone attacking it starts taking AoE damage. I don't know. It's gonna have to be something crazy for them to sell it as a rally. You know what I mean?
It is. I mean, I fully agree. Even when I said things like the idea or the hope of a sort of electric, paralytic
Mm.
maze that sort of chains it. Even then, if you get swarmed by many marchers, there's going to be a limit, right? Even if it chains to 3 or 4, there's if you get swarmed by 10 marchers or however many the game physically sort of allows on that rally, it's going to get melted. That's just something that we've seen with mages. They were quite when rallies were powerful. Obviously, season 2 springs to mind. When they were very very powerful. People were a bit more, I suppose, as well. People were a bit more scared to hit them. And then rallies got nerfed, and then so whether or not you kind of go back. I mean, it's a fine balance, right? One march or a couple of marches hitting a rally. It's 2 million troops. That you should be punished. But at the same time, if you've got potentially 10 people swarming at 300k, that's 3 million. It's where do you draw the line? I think I must admit I haven't got an exact answer for it. Again, mages potentially just again more HP and just hope that the sort of any counter attack or it defending itself is just improved in particular.
Yeah, definitely. Because I mean, even a Hotskinara rally, right? Like, yeah, it's not like a primary. It's not like a meta rally for taking down garrisons anymore. But yeah, people do use it from time to time. But as you saw, even between RKVK, between Noir and Echo, those cav rushes were insane. There's like, oh, here comes
Yeah,
a Mag A, which is an amazing single target rally, right? If not arguably the best one right now in terms of damage. You just prepare the calves and send them in and swarm in, it's gone. Or even if you don't have calves, right? Obviously, that's the best to use. Everyone just swarms it and it dies. And even the Hoskinara, like, send in those calves, really, and then it's over. So it's like, just how you said, like, how OP would it have to be? Ultimately, maybe it just never will be good for rallying.
exactly. And again, I think that's the tricky part of balancing because we don't want rallies to be too oppressive. Like I think rallies do need to have their niche or they do need to have their place. As you say, a Hoskinara, Venom Lizard being used more for counter attack builds. Being able to if you can, especially if you're going like up a ramp or something like that, or through a choke, things like that where they can be used as an offensive or sometimes defensive tool, things like that. But yeah, you don't want them, as I say, I remember in season 2, some of them like Diablo, Teon, those rallies
Mm.
when we were ROS and that, people
Oh
would hit
my
them and then
god.
we would try and move out of the way, but people would start panicking. And the next, this rally, this Lily is just going around, just fireballing everyone, chained. And then obviously, if you stand AFK, which people would. I mean, I think people are more onto it now. Keep moving your troops, keep your hand on the screen or finger on the mouse. But when these people would start move out of the way and park their troops, next they get splash damage, so their troops then turn around and start defending themselves, and then it just became chaotic. So we don't want it to be as bad as it was then. But again, with how much the game has moved, so many more T5s, five, quad 5 awakened heroes, 5/5 artifacts, some of the pets that we've seen people have. Maybe those mage ones can potentially go back to how they were, and they wouldn't quite, they'd be powerful, but then not quite overpowered. Again, it's going to be a balancing act. I think the devs need to make a decision. They need to at least try it, but then I think they need to be responsive enough to either have a counter, whether or not it's a second buff or a sort of medium nerf, or just be ready to revert it back. They just need to be proactive, I think.
Yeah, for sure. We can only be hopeful, man. We can only be hopeful. I feel like and I was talking about this yesterday. I'm like, bro, we need some leaks, man. Especially right now in Home Kingdom, as a lot of you guys may know, Echo, Noir, a lot of the G1 servers are like on a 1 month vacation. Damn near. Which is crazy because last time we were only in Home Kingdom for what, like 2, 3 weeks.
Yeah, I think it was about 2 weeks. Anywhere between sort of 12 and 17 days. It was a pretty quick turnaround. You got a bit of farming in, then yeah, straight back into the action.
Yeah. What are some of the things now that we talked about like our predictions and with that being said, guys, let me know in the comment section below what you guys think is coming. Maybe something you agree or disagree with some of the comments that we have made. So with that being taken care of, say what are some of the things that you're doing to prepare for these new mages as a mage main?
So again, just micro things, and these are the things that people we try to express to free to play or low spenders as well. But it's something that everyone really should be doing. Whenever you see events that involve heads, caravan, some of these other ones are thrown up, the odd ones where for the behemoth ones. Also now where you've got these events on where you can buy the bundles and then there's all the rewards. I did buy, I think I bought the 5, 10, maybe the $20 bundles, but that was more just because I needed the gems, for the payback purchase. But the event itself, very very easy. If you just do all the quests and the treasure maps and whatnot, very easy to get those 20 heads without spending any money. I say easy. I mean, it's quite straightforward, but it'll take you towards the end of the event. You might get a little bit anxious, but there's just things like that. Making sure you're getting the rewards. Speed ups. Forts are really good. Our Alliance Echo, people are getting better at burning their CP on forts in particular. Get things like your arcane dust, your XP books. They're going to be for your new heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Just saving up, and then of course the biggest thing. I've got a push ready. Train a load of Celestials for the new ages is farming. Make sure you're farming. Be as proficient as you can. Make sure your king's always popping the buffs. Farming on territory where you can, finding a space that works for you. If you're working and you can't really access your account too often, you want to be able to farm the high level nodes. But maybe off territory, kind of things like that. Just try and be as efficient as you can. Just try and tie things into your normal day. You don't have to go too crazy about it. You can do a bit, just a couple of sessions here and there, and your account sort of takes care of itself without you then feeling committed to it like you would during wartime.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, just been maxing all the events and everything that you can do to be prepared. Saving those tokens, those G3 tokens for the mages. One of the things that I'm gonna start doing as of today, actually, is buying the 2-star skills because, as you know, saying that there has been a change in the skills for the pet skills, where you can only buy 1 2-star a week. One of the things that I want to be ready for is whenever these new mages come in, I'm gonna just stick one of my working pets that I have on it for now. Hopefully in a perfect world, it drops with the new mage pet, right? That would be freaking amazing. But
Great, yeah.
we don't want to happen what happened with Max A. You know what I mean? Like, let's just say it is like mages that do kind of like some kind of electric effect, and people are like, maybe we should try the Thunder Lizard now. I don't know, something of that case, right? I don't want to be in the situation where a lot of the archer players with Max A and full scent on a sand lizard, and then surprise, surprise, here's a freaking Shadow Manticore, So I think for me, I'm just gonna, as far as like pet wise, because I feel like that's something that takes longer to get, is just use one of the pets that I have right now, one of my like spare pets, because we used to have stamina issues back in the day with pets. I don't really have stamina issues anymore, but I think I'm gonna start off by buying follow up. I'm gonna buy follow up. Keep an eye on the market, as you know, like the inflation for the prices is crazy right now. I don't think it's too bad for the mages, right? It was mainly the physical heroes that got it worse for the skills. I'm pretty sure.
Mostly, I think I do think a couple of the mage towns, like especially the the intense stuff as well. Like the plain blooms and that. That one in particular got got
yeah,
pretty hard.
magic spirits up to 22, magic fortune 21.
Yeah, some of your main crit ones. I think effectively it was mainly crit across the board, wasn't it? Even with the other ones. Yeah, I think a lot of the crit ones seem to just skyrocket. I mean, we'll see. There was some comments or some things I heard that the devs are looking into it, that while they want fluctuation, or they kind of want it to be a open system and sort of marketplace. They didn't. I don't think it was anticipated to quite jump like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we look at the prices though, guys, like we said before, like I said, we're talking about our predictions here, but also sharing with you guys some of the things that we're doing to be ready. If you look at the purchase limit, you can buy 5 1-stars. And if you look at Magic Fortune, Elemental Harmony, or even Magic Spirits, if you buy 5 of these, it's still like half the price of an actual 2-star if you buy just a 2-star straight up. So in preparation for the new mages, I think this is the way to do it. Just buying them up all the way up. Either buying the 1-stars, or if you just want to get a 1-star in it, just buy the 0-stars to get it in there. That wouldn't be a bad shout either. Just having a 1-star of Magic Fortune, Elemental Harmony, Magic Spirits, especially follow up, right? Because follow up is definitely more on the affordable side. It'd be interesting to see what kind of things they have there, but that's one of the things I'm doing too. I'm sure you're probably thinking something the same as well, as far as pet skills and stuff like that go.
Yeah, I must admit, one thing that has kind of sort of plagued me is bad luck with getting eight skill slots. So a lot of my pets, a lot of them at the moment are just quite just kind of very mediocre. I mean, I know it's it's a big thing that pets do need to be good, but a few amount of mediocre, I'm hoping to improve. I'm kind of just trying to stack all the good ones. Start building onto things like 3-stars of one, or just getting them ready and doing what I can on the interim, like the sort of the long term aspects, and then just seeing, we spoke about in the past, and a good update would be to increase 7 and 8 slot pets when you get a legendary, because I've got this I think it's like a 5-slot Shadow Fade Drake. Then the skills are they're not amazing, but they're semi decent. We've got some high, like 300 or spirit and intelligence, but it's only 5 slots, so it's a case of that pet can hit hard on its own, but it doesn't have the follow up of the rest of the build. So it's kind of like if you get fortunate enough with its initial damage, that's great. But if you don't, there's not really the long term aspect to it. So it would be good to get some more updates on that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, on my wife's account, she has like a 314 Spirit Sapphire Fade Drake, and we've been trying to get her to get at least a 7 slot with a 310 plus, and it's just not happening. It's just not happening. We'll get an 8 slot with like horrible base attributes, and I'm just like, well, I don't know about that. With that being said, guys, save your freaking potions for your new. If your mage pets right now are in a pretty good spot, just save them, man. Just save them. Hope for an update that gives us some better rolls, because right now they are terrible. They are absolutely terrible. Well, Saint, do you have any final touches on some of the things we've covered, or you feel like we've pretty much covered most of it?
I think we've covered most of it. We're getting closer to whether or not it's a leak, or the devs even putting up like a little notice on the notice board how they do, and they start gradually announcing the majors. I thought this Thursday, but I think we'd have heard something by now. So maybe next Thursday, there might be like a small patch update, early month patch update. So time to get excited. I've got faith. I think these G3 majors, I think they're going to go crazy.
Yeah, hopefully, bro. Hopefully, all the mages we're hoping for that, and if not, whatever, we still have Magze, who's still a G3 mage herself. So,
We gotta love that mage in disguise. We love it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, that's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed the video, drop a like on the video. Make sure you guys share your thoughts with us in the comment section below of your predictions for the new mages. And also shout out to my boy Saint here from the Echo Alliance joining me here today. As I like to consider him a top fighter as well. I always give him crap about his merits and stuff like that, but he knows what I truly think of him. You guys might see us in world chat if we're fighting against each other, just talking smack, but that's just how we troll each other. But saying I appreciate you joining me today this morning on very short notice. Actually, I just called you on Discord and say, "Yo, let's do this." So thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Nah, no problem. I always appreciate being here, man. You know, we love talking about it, don't we? Talk about the game and improvements. So why not put in a video and get some feedback from the community.
For sure, for sure. Also, guys, if you're not subscribed to the channel or enjoying the channel, hit that sub button. Mage season is around the corner, and you already know we're going to go crazy with coverage for that. We always do coverage for any of the new heroes, but especially mages, man. Especially mages. Until next time, guys, your boy Guns and my boy Saint here. We out, y'all. Peace.
Yeah.